1998 BC 83. The Taylor series for natural log of x centered at x equals 1 is given by this series. Let f be the function given by the sum of the first three non-zero terms of this series. So f is not ln of x, f is the sum of the first three non-zero terms of that series. And the maximum value, absolute value of ln of x minus f of x for x between 0.3 and 1.7 is what? Well, first of all, the maximum value of natural log of x minus f of x, absolute value, that is the difference between the actual and the approximating function. Ln of x being the actual function, f of x being the approximating function with three terms of the infinite series. And we take the absolute value of that, that'll tell us how far the two are apart over that given interval. So this particular problem is a little bit tricky here because we're not looking for the error or the remainder at a particular x value. So we're not going to use the error calculation or the remainder calculation here. Instead, we're going to use our calculator in this way. First of all, I'm going to generate the first three non-zero terms of that series. And that would be for n equals 1, so the first term will be positive, and we'll get f of x is equal to x minus 1 is the first term. With the second term, n is equal to 2. So when n is equal to 2, we have a negative term, and x minus 1 quantity squared over 2. The third term, n will be 3, so 3 plus 1 will be 4. We'll have a positive term, and it will be x minus 1 to the third power over 3. So that by definition is f of x. And f of x is the approximator of ln of x. And what we want to do now is we want to see what is the maximum difference between those two. So I'm going to use the calculator to enter y1 is going to equal f of x, or those three terms, the sum of those three terms. So we're going to put in x minus 1, then minus x minus 1, squared over 2 plus x minus 1 to the third over 3. And that is f of x. But what we're looking for here is the absolute value of the difference between the natural log of x and f of x. So I'm going to come down here and set up absolute value, natural log of x, then minus y1, variables, y variables, function y1, close parentheses. So that will give me the difference between those two functions there. And what I'm looking for is the maximum value of that difference there. I'm going to turn off the first function so we don't graph it. And I'm going to set up my window to go from 0.3 to 0.7 by 0.1, and by some experimentation I've found that it's good to use y to be negative 0.2 to positive 0.5 by 0.1s, and we should be able to graph now the difference. And you can see as it graphs that out that the maximum difference between the two occurs at the left-hand endpoint, which is x equals 0.3. So I'm going to actually get the value there. Take the value of that function at x equals 0.3, and it tells me that is 0.1446, which turns out to be answer C, 0.145, rounded to 3 decimal places. So that's the largest that error becomes on the interval from 0.3 to 1.7. And I'll close down the calculator now. And I'll leave a copy of that window there so that it can be so that it's clear. I'll also put a copy of the y equals screen. So the y1 screen with the two different functions is there for reference as well. And we'll stop at this point.